my name is Danielle Bennett, and I'm doing my presentation on sexual harassment in the workplace for Dr. Greene's class in fall of 2016. What is sexual harassment? Many people have different views on what it is, but I'm going to give you the definition, some of the laws, and the what to do, the steps on what to do if you feel like you have been sexually harassed. First of all, the definition. What is sexual harassment? Sexual harassment describes unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, or other verbal or physical conduct of a sexual nature. The next slide is going to talk about some facts. These are just very few of many, many different examples of sexual harassment. First of all, the victim as well as the harasser can be male or female. The victim does not have to be the opposite sex. The harasser can be the victim's supervisor, an agent in the workplace. It can be a supervisor of another area, or it can be somebody who's not even an employee of that workplace, but just somebody in that building. Yeah. It can also be the victim does not have to be the person harassed, but it could be somebody who is affected by the harassment. Unlawful sexual harassment may occur without injury to the victim. You do not need to be physically hurt to be a victim of harassment, but just to be touched inappropriately or anything of that nature is also considered harassment. Some more facts about sexual harassment is while working or on duty, American employees experience 36,500 rapes and sexual assaults just from the year 1933 to 1999. Women are the victims of 80% of rapes and sexual assaults that take place in the workplace. Between 2005 and 2009, rape and sexual assault accounted for 2.3% of all non-fatal violence in the workplace. Many states have different laws about sexual harassment. First of all, sexual harassment. It can be anything in this nature. This is just a few of them, but there are many, many more different ways of being sexually harassed. Of course, unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, direct or indirect threats or bribes for sexual activities, unwelcome touching or brushing against a person, sexual comments, persuasive displays of materials with sexually or graphic content, and attempt to complete sexual assault. Okay, now we're going to talk about the laws. This title states that prohibits discrimination in the employment on a basis of sex, race, color, national origin, and religion, and it applies to the employees with 15 or more employees, including federal, state, and local governments. All states have a little bit different laws for sexual harassment, but I'm going to go just into a little bit of detail of New Mexico's laws. New Mexico's Human Rights Act prohibits discrimination in employment on the basis of sex discrimination, or the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity, which is sex discrimination, which is defined in state regulations to include sexual harassment. The act applies to employees that have more than 4 other employees, except for them. That discrimination based on sexual orientation or gender identity applies to employers with 15 or more employees. Okay. Now, this is what to do if you think you have been sexually harassed. I'm just going to talk about one a few steps to take, but there are many, many different ways and regulations. You need to look at the employee handbook and policies to see what your employee may expect of you to do. But for one, you need to consult, of course, the handbook, as I said. If you feel safe speaking to the person that assaulted you, the first step that some people want you to take is to tell that person. Sometimes they may not even know that what they're doing is harassment, whether it's words, brushing up against you, any kind of threats they're giving that they don't feel like is threat, but you feel threatful to yourself. Tell them about it. Tell them it's bothering you. Tell them that you don't like the behavior and to change. If you do not feel comfortable talking to the harasser, you can go to a supervisor. You can go to somebody other than you in that workplace. This is if you don't feel comfortable. That's just saying go to your supervisor, take the steps that your handbook has talked about. When you tell somebody else, it's their duty to file a complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. The EEOC stands for the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. They are responsible for enforcing federal laws that make it illegal to discriminate against a job applicant or employee because of the person's race, color, religion, sex, gender identity, sexual orientation, national origin, age, disability, or genetic information. The EEOC has the authority to investigate charges to discrimination against employers who are covered by the law. This kind of just goes into what the EEOC is about, what they do, and kind of they file the lawsuits. If you believe you have a claim, you have the right to file a discrimination report with the EEOC, the federal agency charged with enforcing many anti-discrimination laws. But never wait to file the complaint. If you feel like something is happening, do it as soon as the harassment has been done. You have 180 days from the day of the assault to file these charges. You don't need an attorney. That's kind of what the EEOC is for. After you notify the EEOC or somebody has notified them, they will then notify your supervisor that there's something going on. And then they will have the right to file the charges, and the investigation will then begin. If both parties cannot reach an agreement on a settlement and the dependent is a private employer, the EEOC can file a lawsuit in federal court. Finally, the EEOC also has the right to dismiss all charges if there is a dismissal or no agreement between them. The EEOC will notify you that you have the right to sue in court. If you still feel like nothing's getting done, or you feel like nothing was resolved because they dismissed it or because there was no agreement, you can then go talk to your supervisor again. And some employers have a dismissal an equal employment opportunity officer who will take charge of the situation, or some companies may even offer mediation or other tools to resolve issues between you and the harasser. Sexual harassment is a very serious thing and for some people can be taken really lightly, but it means a lot to the people who is being harassed. It does do a lifetime of harm to the victim. Harassment at work is a difficult thing to face, let alone to face alone. And the process of fighting harassment can be very stressful. Make sure you have a lot of people around you and continue to have those people around you if you feel like you have been harassed. Also, I didn't put this in the PowerPoint, but I did read about a good thing to do if you feel like you're being harassed is take notes of what the harasser is doing to you, when they are doing it, where you are, who's around, what's being said. Take notes of what's going on. That way, when you go to the EEOC, they will have writing proof that's written down. Yeah, I think that's kind of my PowerPoint. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and be careful out there. Thanks. Here's my references.